Sometimes in our everyday lives, we have the experience of essence, and sometimes we don't. How is this related to our psychological issues, and how do we begin to heal and reconnect with our essence?
As I said before, we need to have a grounded experience of our essence and not use it as a way to cut off, to split off unpleasant stuff from our past experiences. It is related. The way we experience essence or we don't experience essence is related to our psychological past. So we need to look at our psychological past, our psychological history, to admit what has happened to us in the past, the way we get wounded, and the way we get eventually programmed. Because this is what has impaired the flow of our essence in our system, in our body. And this is work. So we need to labor. The ancient Greeks, the Pythagoreans, were saying, avoid a man that helps you to drop laboring, because he will become a cause for you not to labor, while you need to labor for some things in order to get where you want to get. And this applies here to what we are discussing. Although the experience of essence is something very beautiful, it's ease, it's well-being, it's a wonderful state. In order to get there, we need to work through our psychological stuff, because due to this history that we have in our childhood and after, but especially our childhood, we got conditioned and we got programmed. And through this history, through this wounding, through this programming, the flow of essence in our system got impaired. Every time we get wounded, there was a cut, a splitting, a cutting of the connection to our essence. And in our life today, we see certain patterns, negative patterns, repeating all the time in our behavior, in what we do, what we're experiencing, in our thinking, in our feeling. It is like we are trapped from our past experiences, from our memories, from our impressions. So we need to look at our ego structure, the content of our personality, our superego, that is the watchdog, the guardian of that ego, that makes sure that we never leave that ego. And we have to come in terms with our history and not to push it away, not to want to look at it. We discard it, we don't want to know, because this is our stuckness. So we need to look at it, because we get arrested. We have, so to say, some neuronic deposits in our system. In our nervous system we have some impressions. And the more early it was, the more difficult, the more stuck in our system they are. More early when this happened. And we need to look at our wounds that are blocking the flow of essence right now in our system. And we should look at every part of it, because even though this material might be negative, but following every part, seeing what is every part about, will bring us to see what was the essence that was really impaired from flowing each time we get wounded. So this is a very useful work into retrieving our essence and different parts of our essence, different qualities of our essence. So we need to look at our psychological stuff and whatever appears in the ego, all the defense mechanisms, our negative trances, our everyday narcissism as we call it. And we need to see how our system got impaired. And in fact, every arrest, every stuckness is a cry it's a language that our system is using to tell us to look there so we can come in touch with what got lost, the essence that got lost there. We need to sort out our object relations from our past history, from our childhood. In my work, I have found out that the work of the inner child is the most effective work in order to do the basic sorting out of these object relations of our childhood, to look at these wounds and heal them with a lot of compassion, a lot of love. And although there are many, many works that can help us on this path, I found out that the inner child work creates a direct connection to how we have been as a child. And in fact, it's important to visit that, because the last time we were our essence, we were our soul, we were living in connection to our essence, it was when we were a child, before the wounding occurred. So now, if we visit the inner child, the wounded child inside of us, also the magical child inside of us, we are able to access parts of this essence, or let's say the blueprint, what is left, and maybe in the deepest memory inside of us from this time when we were living with our essence, in our essence. And we might sometimes get the impression that our essence or our essential self is a child, which is really not true. That impression is there because the last time we were living in our essence, we were a child. So after the cut-off from the essence, our essence didn't evolve, because essence is evolving. And we might get that impression, but in fact, if we go back, admit our woundedness, let it heal with love and compassion and with this methodology, then we will re-establish slowly our essence in our system, in our body, and let it evolve, let it grow. And slowly it can come to the physical age that we are now. And then a great fusion takes place of our essence, our essential being, the way it can grow with the way we are now in our life. And this is very, very beautiful. It's completion. So that inner child work gives us a great opportunity to access the time when we were in our essence the last time before the wounding occurred. In my work, I use it frequently in this light.